Hi everybody. Today I want to share with you a video of what you can do if you have an overspray of ink. If it goes beyond your pencil lines to the point where it makes your animal or whatever it is that you're painting look distorted. What can you do once that ink dries in order to correct and save a painting? I had this exact same problem as I worked on Crow, which is what you're seeing here today. And in fact, I salvaged this video specifically as a teaching video because no one else will see it. And so hopefully you'll be able to learn what you can do to save your painting despite the fact that you've done a bit of overspraying. So at the bottom of the Crow, on the underbelly, there is a lot of overspray. There's about an inch to an inch and a half of where the ink extended beyond what I wanted to have happen. And I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to fix it. I knew that white acrylic ink was not going to work because it's too transparent. It would just, you'd be able to see that dark color right through. So I decided to use white acrylic paint as you are seeing right now. The white acrylic paint, I decided to put it on a thin coat and let it dry while I worked on the rest of the bird. And the first coat did a marginal job of covering the dark purple and black ink that was underneath. So now it just sort of looks like a blue-gray there. But it just goes to show how much of an overspray I had to correct. I still at this point wasn't sure that it was even going to work, but I pressed on and decided to work on other parts of the bird until that area dried, and then I wanted to come back in and add another layer of white, as you can see now. And so I added a little bit of a thicker bit of white acrylic paint. It's basically just craft paint that I'm using from Hobby Lobby. You can use any type of acrylic white paint for this. The second coat, as you can see, did a bit of a better job coating it, and I decided to make it so there was a better contrast. I darkened the black area coming up to the edge there significantly so that it would show, it would sort of trick the eye into showing more of the black and letting that background recede a little bit. But as you can see, that really doesn't correct my situation much better because you can still see that it's a grayish hue now. And I think I realized at this point that it was never going to get back to the original white that you see from the rest of the background. So at this point, I decided that I was going to add, I believe, another layer of white acrylic paint on the bottom, but you can't add too many layers because it will eventually crack the paint. You can't get it too thick. So I knew that I was going to have to do something else in order to trick the eye and make it look like that everything I was doing was intentional, when in fact what I was trying to do was correct a mistake. So as I continue to work here on the underbelly of Crow, you can see that the more I darken it, the more the background recedes. That grayish part doesn't look quite as noticeable as it once did. It's still not perfect, but it does look better. So I'm sort of fooling the eye into looking at the details of the surrounding areas leading up to my mistake, so that the eye doesn't automatically go to the background area. Now here I'm just using my black Prismacolor pencil to come in and tighten up any lines that I needed to work on. And black Prismacolor pencil is really good if you are trying to do some fine detail work. It's perfect for that. And so I'm just continuing with the painting as though it's going to turn out just fine. And now I'm working on the bottom. I decided that I was going to just finish everything else up and then concentrate on that mistake area last. I wanted to see just how bad it was. Once the painting was finished, how badly you'd still be able to see it. So at this point, I finally decided that the best thing to do was to add some contrasting color. So I have Tangerine acrylic ink. Actually, I believe that's India ink there. And I decided to use that against that black and sort of have that feather out. I added water to it. And as you can see, now there's orange in place of where that mistake was. And although the ink doesn't run as well, when you have acrylic paint that sits underneath it, because you don't have that sheen that you would normally have with the Yupo paper, now you have some tooth to that paper because of it. But it did work out fairly well. And I went back and added a little bit of magenta, and now you can barely tell that that mistake was there, and everything looks like it was deliberate.